Christine and I are so grateful that you've chosen to be one of the communities that gets together and has people over to dinner, uses Graham Care's book, The Gathering Place, prepare food together, eat together, share fellowship together, and hear a little bit of what we're trying to launch. Thank you for taking the time. We hope you guys have a great meal together. We only wish we could be there. Now, Christine is the leader of our small ministry. We try to help people in a number of ways, but her gifts are in gardening and spirituality. Her most recent book is Godspace, and her blog site, godspace.wordpress.com, talks about how to bring spiritual practices into everyday life.
Well, Tom is the research guy as well as being an author, his most recent book being The New Conspirators. Now, Mustard Seed Associates is a small not-for-profit that is particularly focused on helping people think about how is the world changing and how do we as God's people need to change in order to be more effective in the future. And so we provide resources, we hold events, we do all kinds of things in order to help people think about how can they be more effective as God's people moving into future. We particularly feel that God still works through the small and the insignificant, the mustard seed, to change the world. And so every person, every individual is somebody who can contribute to the things that God is doing.
And part of what makes us a little unique is that we're one of the very few Christian organizations that tries to make sense of how the future is changing. What are the new challenges? What are the new opportunities as we race towards the year 2020? So we try to help college students imagine new ways to live and serve God after graduation, families with kids how to raise their kids in changing times, and local churches helping them imagine new ways to create new ministries that engage the new needs in their communities locally and globally as a part of their witness for the gospel of Christ in the world. 2 weeks ago, we got an email from Jamie, a young church planner in Winnipeg, Manitoba. He's not only planning a new Mennonite church, but an intentional Christian community. In The New Conspirators, he read about a story of another young church planner who wanted to buy an apartment house. Well, Jamie liked the idea, talked some Mennonite businessmen into it. They've just purchased a 4-story apartment house that will not only provide a place to work with the poor and the homeless, but it will provide a less expensive way of life for people who live in the intentional community, a place to gather, a place to be the people of God in a new way in Winnipeg, reaching out to neighbors.
Edith Yoder is another person that's been impacted. She is the executive director of Bridge of Hope, an organization that works with single-parent mums. And she told me recently that when she's looking for spiritual resources to nurture her soul, that Mustard Seed Associates is the first place that she comes.
We also provide a range of resources to help people create more festive, less stressed ways of life, spiritual resources, and you can go to our website and find out about all of these. We also have a monthly e-zine called the Seed Sampler that puts you in touch with the creative edge of what people are doing all over the world. And we would love to include some of your stories in that too. So keep us in mind as you dine together, share ideas and dreams together. We would like to hear them as well.
And Tom and I don't just believe in providing resources for others to get involved in innovative things and to model something of God's kingdom. We're also in the business of living a life that we also believe is modeling something of that kingdom. So we live in a small community, the Mustard Seed House here in Seattle. We produce about 40% of our own vegetables. We really want to live a way of life that is both celebrative and sustainable. We practice a rule of life. We do community meal together at least once a week, and we do morning and evening prayers usually about 4 times a week.
Now here's where we need your help. We have 40 acres on Camino Island, an hour north of Seattle, where we're going to build a second community called the Mustard Seed Village. The intent of this is to create a rural site for people to live together, have a different rhythm of life, a more sustainable way of life where they grow much of their own food, but also a place for imagination and innovation. We need your help to make a beginning. We're going to deed the land over to the ministry this year. And then Christine's going to tell you where we're going to begin and where we can use your help.
Well, what we plan to do is to launch the Mustard Seed Village in January 2012 by offering a semester away program for college students. And we expect to have 10 to 20 students that come together for courses on sustainability and spiritual practices so that they can both live and practice their faith more sustainably in the future. And in order to make this possible, we need to be able to bring on board 2 people who are part of our team currently working with us part-time, but we need to be able to bring them both on board full-time so that they can work on developing the program, on getting things ready for these students to come. At this stage, we probably need another $50,000 for the coming year in order to make this possible.
So we need your help, we need your prayers. Consider a monthly contribution to join those that are trying to help us prepare for the launch for January 2012, or a one-time contribution if you can.
Tom and I so much appreciate what you're doing to help us in this. Gatherings like this, where we gather around food for fellowship and for fun, are so much at the center of who we are at Mustard Seed Associates. And we appreciate your coming together in this way and helping us show a little glimpse of the kingdom of God in this way.